Elite design, better comfort, more grip. Our new Pure Grip Socks Elite add engineered compression, an anti-blister base, and more grip to keep you locked in. Available now at puregripsocks.com.
These are the most hyped up football boots heading into 2025, but is it for the right reasons? These are the pros and cons of the Adidas Predator 25 Elite FT. And really quickly, before we get started, if you enjoy the pros and cons videos on the channel, don't forget to drop a like on this one and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already so you don't miss out on my reviews of all the latest football boots as we head into 2025. Aside from the way they look, for me, the main reason why you buy a Predator 25 is for the strike skin rubber element, which compared to last year's variation has definitely been streamlined a little bit, but still provides plenty of bite and extra grip on the ball, particularly when shooting, which isn't necessarily going to make your shot more accurate, more powerful, or swerve the ball significantly more, but it will allow you to generate spin more easily and generally give you more of a sense of control. It also does have that nice kind of punchy sensation, given that the upper isn't overly thin, which does give it a little bit of that old school power boot type sensation. And I also like the fact that because of its more minimal design, it doesn't seem to grip the ball quite as significantly when dribbling like the old ones did. There's no tiptoeing around the fact that $280 for the Predator 25 Elite FT is a lot of money, where technically you can get pretty well the exact same experience for a little bit less in the non-FT variation at $260, but let's face it, this doesn't have the same visual impact as this, so most people are going to end up spending that extra $20 just to have the tongue and the strap. Where, let's be real, is this really worth an extra 20 bucks? Probably not, but Adidas knows that everybody wants it. However, like I always say, most of the time you don't have to pay full retail, where if you are interested in the Predator 25, whether it's the FT or regular Elite variation, you can pick them up below their normal retail prices by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the link down below. While they might not look like it, and of course it's not being made a big part of the marketing campaign, the Predator 25 is actually a pretty lightweight pair of football boots, where obviously they're not going to be quite as light as Adidas's own dedicated speed boot in the F50, but if you compare it to some other speed boots on the market, like the $290 Ultra 5 Carbon with its full carbon fiber sole plate, these are two football boots that in the same size are within 3 grams of each other. As much as I like the more streamlined strike skin rubber element, it must be said that compared to the Predator 24 that this replaces, there is less grip to be had here. So if you have the Predator 24 and really like the amount of grip that they have on offer, do realize that with this new 25 generation, there simply is less grip, which isn't necessarily an awful thing for everybody, but to some people that would be considered at least a little bit of a downgrade. While I personally think that the grip is the standout feature of the Predator 25, it must be said that as an overall package, it's extremely well-rounded. They fit great, they're comfortable football boots, the extra grip is fantastic, the Hybrid Touch 2.0 synthetic upper, while on the thinner side, provides an excellent touch on the ball and also feels great on your feet, with the Control Frame 2.0 sole plate and stud pattern giving the boot overall a lighter than expected feel, a great underfoot sensation from the sole plate itself, and traction that is going to be on par with just about every other top-end model from Adidas right now. In other words, when it comes to feel and performance, there's a lot to like and very little to criticize. Unless, of course, your expectation with the Predator 25 is because they look like old school Predators, that they're going to feel like old school Predators, and unfortunately, that is not the case. They have some common elements that of course relate this back to the glory days of the Adidas Predator, but most of those elements are cosmetic, like the fold over tongue, and of course the extra grip provided by the rubber elements. However, unlike some of the best Preds of all time, these are not made from a natural leather, let alone a kangaroo leather, and for the most part are on the thinner and lighter side. So if you're expecting a little bit more of that kind of padded, I don't want to use the word bulky, but tankier type sensation that you might get from something along the lines of an old school Predator Accelerator or a Predator Mania, unfortunately, these don't really feel like those boots. In other words, don't let their appearance skew your expectations. applications. And speaking of appearance, while this has nothing to do with performance, it must be said that the Predator 25 Elite FT with that fold-over tongue definitely has the wow factor when it comes to the visuals. They just look so distinctly different from everything else currently on the market and stand out in the best way possible. As far as football boot trends go, I would personally argue that this is a good one. Having said that, while it is the on-trend popular choice to go for the version of the Predator 25 with the fold-over tongue, it must be said that this offers no performance advantage whatsoever. Where yes, there are rubber elements on the tongue itself to enhance grip on the ball, but those are only there because the tongue is actually covering up other rubber elements that would normally just be exposed. And the idea of putting extra material on top of your foot to make for a cleaner touch is just not a concept that personally I buy into. If you really believe that a lace cover will improve your touch on the ball, then I suppose the FT variation is definitely the one to go for, but objectively, when it comes to actual performance, there really is no difference between the version with the tongue and the version without. This one just looks cooler.